after their 2 games, having lost to Germany earlier this afternoon, and they can move into second with a victory, certainly, and with Switzerland to play Germany in their final game. That would put the Scots in a terrific position, but a lot of work to do before that, as Scotland win a free kick for a shove there, and it'll be free kick to Scotland down in the right back position, which Angus Gunn will trot across here to take this early free kick. I mean, Leanne, the atmosphere is just something else, isn't it?
It's electrifying, it really is. The Tartan Army playing their part, but the Swiss fans off to our right-hand side as well. They've been in a fine fettle almost since we arrived in the stadium, actually, but as the place is filled up, it's exceptional.
Scotland throw in right-hand side to be taken by Jack Henry, just inside the Swiss half. Back the way it goes to the other new man in the starting 11, that's Grant Hanley. Rolls it back to Angus Gunn at the edge of his box. He knocks it long, looking for him again, but it's won by Fabian Schär of Newcastle United. Now it's Manuel Akanji playing it out to the right-hand side for Dan Ndoye of Bologna. Again, though, doing well to win possession back. He's one side of throw in. Andy Robertson wanted to take it quickly. Eventually manages to get it back off a Swiss player and rolls it down the line to again, who wins Scotland an early corner. Good start from the Scots, Stephen.
Certainly is. We're only a minute 45 in, but you can already see there's a much different look to this Scotland side tonight. Winning a corner within the first 2 minutes is absolutely brilliant and a real opportunity for us now.
It'll be Scott McTominay from the left-hand side to swing this one in. Scotland looking to get off to a rip-roaring start here in Cologne. Plenty of Scots inside the 6-yard box as McTominay fires it in near post. It's well watched though by Freuler, I think it was. And out on the far side it's going to be a Scotland throw-in.
Poor corner, wasn't it?
I think he just slipped Scott McTominay just in the run-up. Failed to beat anybody beyond the front post, but certainly a throw-in still in the final third. Just a good opportunity for Scotland just to keep the ball in here, but to try and create something.
Kieran Tierney to take this one just a few yards away from the corner flag on that left-hand side. Scotland still get out everyone pretty much up the park. Jack Henry and Grant Hanley deepest in terms of outfield players. In it comes to the penalty area. It's well won though back there, but picked up by McGregor. Back out to Tierney, crossing opportunity, can't beat the first man. Gets another chance to put it into the box, so comes to Adam, just tries to nudge it on to Robertson, who tries to fire it into the box. Another Scotland corner. This is good stuff from the Scots.
Yeah, it's good, really good. Just a little period of pressure, which I think the players will need.
It's going to really settle the team, isn't it?
Yeah, 100%, because that's what you want. You want not even necessarily a quick start, but just a portion of the game that you feel you're in total control. And a couple of early chances. Scott McTominay, as we mentioned, he slipped with the first corner, but he's got a second bite at it now to look to go and put something in with a bit better quality. Give John McGinn and the like something to go and attack.
McTominay lining up the corner from the left-hand side, swings it in right on top of the keeper. Good take from Jan Sommer inside his 6-yard box, and he bowls it out as Switzerland look to try and play themselves into the game. It's Granit Xhaka driving them forward, plays the ball through, it's just beyond Vargas there, and all the way through to Angus Gunn. Played 4 minutes in the Cologne Stadium. A good start from Scotland, but it remains Scotland 0, Switzerland 0.
You can see there's a real intent in the Scotland side to play higher up than they were certainly in that Germany game. We've got 4 players up in the halfway line here. Options for the players on the ball.
Grant Hanley outside his own penalty area, plays it up towards the halfway line, flicked on there by Ralston. Vargas, Akanji picks up at the back for Switzerland as they look to settle into the game. Xhaka just can't allow him to begin to dictate things the way Tony Kroos did the other night for the Germans. But Scotland certainly pressing the Swiss higher at this stage, but it played down the right-hand side for Ndoye. Kieran Tierney's with him and he steps in and he knocks it away. Out of play over on the far side. We've got a reporter, Jane Lewis, down behind one of the goals, just to provide a bit of colour and a bit of atmosphere. Jane, what's it like down there?
Yeah, I'm actually sitting behind the goal that Scotland are scoring towards, so I want them to be on target for more than one reason, because it could be pretty perilous stuff for me down here if they're a bit off target. But listen, it is a brilliant atmosphere. I look behind me and it is pretty much a sea of red. They're colourful and they are noisy. 1 or two wee pockets, as I said before, of Scotland fans, but it's mostly the Swiss fans, and they are absolutely loving this, as are the Scotland fans as well, of course, but they are very, very noisy. It is so atmospheric. It's utterly, utterly brilliant.
Nice change, shoving it back there by Sherham. Again, a Scotland free kick about 10 yards inside the Scots half. There was a misplaced pass just a moment ago, as James was speaking, by Grant Hanley, but Switzerland not able to really take advantage. Billy Gilmore's taken a knock in the face by the looks of it as well, but it seems to be okay, signaling for the referee he doesn't need any treatment, so it will be a free kick to Scotland, to be taken by Kieran Tierney, who's not clear exactly where he's going to be playing his football next season after a loan spell at Real Sociedad. He's knocked the free kick too long, all the way behind for a goal kick at the other end. Switzerland goal kick. We played 6 minutes here, 0-0.
It's just a straight ball over the top from Kieran Tierney, searching for Andy Robertson, but the quality in the pass wasn't there. Even in those types of moments, though, I get Scotland are looking to try and get into the Swiss defensive third and look to get at them, but I would like Scotland just to get the ball turning, especially when you've got the likes of Billy Gilmore in there, Callum McGregor. Just get them back on the ball, just regain possession and look to try and build the play.
Gone under a bit of pressure there, just slices the ball out of play. Dan Ndoye was closing him down as the ball was played down the right channel for Switzerland, and it's going to be a throw-in to the Swiss, more or less in line with the 18-yard box, out on the right-hand side as they attack. They go back the way to Scher, who's playing on the right-hand side of a back three for Switzerland. They were highly impressive for the most part in that victory over Hungary. Did that commentary, and very, very impressed by them. Certainly deserving of the victory. And here's Freuler playing it forward for Shaqiri, who's the only man to come into that side from the game against Hungary. John McGinn snapping into the challenge.
It's never a free kick.
No, it didn't look like it, did it?
Nah, if anything, a lot of the ball.
If anything, a throw-in to Switzerland as the ball's chipped through early on, but no chance Vargas is going to get onto that. Easy for Gunn, who rolls it out to Ralston. Ralston could do with a few touches early on just to keep his confidence high. Might have taken a bit of a knock after that defeat by Germany. Shea Adams can't make anything of the ball. It's back now with Scher, and then Freuler plays it out to the right-hand side for Sylvain Widmer. Back with Freuler, right on the halfway line, inside the centre circle. Plays it into the middle of the park, and now it's Rodriguez, the left-hand side of the central back three. Just knocks it out to the left-hand side for Ruben Vargas. Switzerland beginning to enjoy a bit more possession. Kanji under pressure though here from McTominay, one side of Manchester up against the other, as Shaqiri just drops off the bumper. He's giving it straight to McGinn, and now it's McTominay bursting into the Swiss half, pokes the ball forward, and it's well cut out by Rodriguez. Didn't quite fall kindly for Shea Adams there, who was lurking, but the ball goes back to Jan Sommer in the Swiss goal. And after 8 minutes, it's still Scotland 0, Switzerland 0.
It's a decent opportunity that. It was slack from the Swiss giving the ball away, and he really should have found Shea Adams, who peeled out the back of the man that was marking him. I think it was Akanji.
Here comes Switzerland low down the right-hand side. It's Widmer making the yards. He's just hit that too heavy, then Hanley goes down under a slight touch. I think it's just going to be a goal kick in the end. Hanley well in charge of that situation, but Widmer in a good position there. He could have done better. He just took, as I say, a heavy touch that took the ball away from him.
Yeah, he does. The touch is poor, to be honest, but you can see this, the Swiss have almost got the same idea as Scotland have, looking for that quick start. A couple of times they've forced it, looking to try and get in behind. A couple of dead ball situations, they've looked for the same. You can tell that they've identified this game, as we had spoke about before we came on, before the game started, this is their opportunity to really go and nail down qualification from the group.
We are playing a very high line, and they have looked to go in behind us at least 3 or 4 occasions already in the opening 9 minutes.
Well, I've seen Germany getting a lot of joy doing that.
Yep.
And so far it hasn't come off for the Swiss, as Shea Adams again fails to keep a hold of the ball, and then he catches Rodriguez in the face as Rodriguez came from his blind side and headed it away, and Adams conceding the free kick. One interesting thing for me tactically is Ebischer on this left-hand side. I mean, he often plays more centrally, certainly for Bologna, but he played against Hungary in this left wing-back, but he's going in the park an awful lot. He is right-footed, and look at it, you can see where he is now. He's right in the park, almost as an inverted wing-back, if you like. Gives him an extra man in the middle of the park.
Yeah, he's creating that overload, making it really difficult for Scotland.
That's a poor ball from Gilmore, trying to play it to Ralston. It's gone out of play deep into the Scotland half, and it's a throw-in to Switzerland here, down in the left-hand side near the corner flag. Here's Vargas, closed down by Gilmour, but he drops his shoulder and he just knocks it out of play, thankfully for Scotland. 10 minutes in, throw into the Scots, no goals as yet. Germany is 6 points from 6 after that victory over Hungary to follow up the mauling of the Scots in Munich. And Scotland looking to make amends here this evening.
It's very evenly poised. It's been an even opening 10 minutes of the game. Certainly a much better start to the game than the previous one.
It's back with Fabian Schär inside his own half. Just plays that to the right-hand side for Widmer, the right wing back. He's playing a more natural right wing back, staying wide, whereas Ebischer, as we can see just at the moment, is right inside the centre circle. So it's an interesting tactic from Murat Yakin, the Swiss head coach. He did mention that he'd made a couple of tweaks from even the warm-up games. It's often Dan N'Doye, who's playing right wing tonight, who plays in that left wing back role, but he's changed that as Yakin, and it worked for him against Hungary. Here's Akanji on the edge of his own box. Always looks assured. Shaqiri dropping very deep to pick up possession. Now it's Schär, right-hand side, just clips it forward down the right for Ebischer, who now popping up in that right wing position, putting Hendry under pressure, and Hendry's claiming he was pushed there as he tried to get it back to Angus Gunn, but he's knocked it behind, and he's not going to get the free kick, and it is going to be a Swiss corner on the right-hand side.
It's really cheap, Leanne, isn't it? It's an absolute gift for Switzerland, this. He's got a simple pass back to his goalkeeper, and he gets it all wrong, way too much pace on it, and unfortunately gives away the corner.
There's no push either.
No.
Just a little bit of pressure from the attacker.
Shaqiri, who becomes the first Swiss player to go to 7 major championships. That's the kind of experience they can call upon. He's going to take this corner from the right, left-footed, played it short. Scotland have only got Callum McGregor out there. They've worked it here. It's Freuler back out to Shaqiri, changing the angle, still on the left foot, curls it in dangerously, away by McTominay. Good header, really important in there, and then Robertson helps it on. And Scotland making the counter here. It's Gilmour finding Robertson. Here they come over the halfway line. Outside of him is Callum McGregor. It's still Robertson. Now he plays McGregor. McGregor inside the box. Touches it back for McTominay. It's in! Oh, a big deflection! Takes it past Jan Sommer, and Scotland in front. And it's Scott McTominay once again. Scotland 1, Switzerland 0.
It's brilliant, absolutely brilliant. Listen, we'll take the stroke of luck in terms of the deflection, but it's a counter-attacking play. Billy Gilmour, he secures the pass right away. Andy Robertson, he's on the attack. It comes from the initial Switzerland corner that we defend really well. McTominay is the header, as you described, Al. It's just that little bit of composure from Gilmour, for me, sets the tone. It gives Robertson the space to go and attack. Callum McGregor, he's doing everything he possibly can to get up and support. He almost makes a mess of it with the first touch, but McTominay arrives. Just get your shot off, Tom. We'll get it on target.
It's his goal. It was on target.
We'll take it.
It was absolutely brilliant. You're right, from Billy Gilmour to secure it and knock it off to Andy Robertson. But what he did after that was sensational. Drove with the ball about 60 yards. Played in McGregor, and you're right, I thought the chance had gone. I thought McGregor made a meal of it. He plays it back to McTominay, who burst himself as well to get up to the edge of the 18. Shots on target, deflected into the goal. Brilliant.
Let's hear from Jane Lewis behind that goal.
Oh, I have to say, Andy Robertson, when he picked up that ball, the sheer determination on his face as he was driving forward was just brilliant to see. It really was the focus, and as the guys have described there, the ball into McGregor, and then that finish, a little bit of luck, will absolutely take it. Somewhat silenced the Swiss fans behind me. They're looking a little bit riled, they're sounding a little bit unhappy with what's unfolding. I have to say, there was one Scot who got up amongst the Switzerland fans. There's one or two in them in there, as I said. One Scot who got up himself on the hoardings and just held the Scottish flag aloft and was cheering for all his heart was content. Utterly brilliant stuff down here when that goal went in.
Thanks, Jane. It's been given by UEFA as a Fabian Schär own goal, but as Thomas said, it was on target. It's surely going to go down as a Scott McTominay goal, and he keeps up the record of every goal being scored at a Euros by a Scot has been scored by a Mick something, and now it's Scott McTominay who had that brilliant record of goal scoring in qualifying, and now he's got a goal at a major tournament, and it's put Scotland ahead as Kieran Tierney gives away a cheap corner. But maybe it doesn't matter, because the last cheap corner resulted in Scotland up the other end, so we'll take it.
Yeah, it was a really slack one again from Kieran Tierney in his right foot, very similar to the Hendry one before it. He was slightly off balance, he was looking for a foul, but there was no foul. And another opportunity for Switzerland to put the ball in our box. But you're right, I'll take a counter-attack goal for this one.
The thing is, Tomo, only Callum McGregor went out to close that previous one down, and it didn't quite come off only because McTominay got the good clearing header. But they have to be more aware, surely, that they've got an overload. Anyway, here's Shaqiri, right-hand side, curls it in again. It's McTominay rising the head. Rodriguez latches onto it, volleys wide though, and the Scots behind that goal cheer loudly, almost as loudly as they cheered when the McTominay goal went in. And so, after a quarter of an hour in the Cologne Stadium, listen to this, it's Scotland 1, Switzerland 0.
It's just an opportunity to breathe for Scotland. You always know when you go and score, the next 5 minutes after that you're really vulnerable because you know the opposition's going to come at you. But it's just an opportunity now for Scotland just to put their foot in the ball, look to try and calm the game. Weather the Swiss storm that you would expect will come. But the start from Scotland in this 15 minutes or so, it's been much, much better. And Scott McTominay, that's the Scott McTominay that we expect to see. Box to box, wins the header at one end of the pitch, and then he's up at the other end to go and get the shot off and give Scotland the advantage.
Well, we know he was carrying a knock from the end of the season from the FA Cup final, and he didn't play the 2 warm-up games, and he, to be fair, looked off it like the rest of the team on Germany. So he didn't look like he was fully fit, but I mean, he's covering a whole lot of
his
ground.
energy tonight, Al, all the players' energy levels are through the roof at this minute in time. Since the start of the game, it's a complete opposite from the Germany game.
Yeah, they've got a point to prove, haven't they? And it very much looks like it as the referee gets in the way of Remo Freuler. There'll be a drop ball to the Swiss side, who trail to that Scott McTominay goal. UEFA still putting it up as a Fabian Schär own goal, but we will be referring to it until told absolutely otherwise as a Scott McTominay goal. But here comes Switzerland looking to respond. It's Vargas on the left-hand side up against Ralston. Into the penalty area he comes, tries to squeeze it across, it comes off Ralston into the side netting. Another Swiss corner, this time on the left-hand side.
That's defended well from Tony Ralston. It was all he could do. Just don't let your man get beyond you. Make sure the ball doesn't get into the box.
Again, they've got 2-on-1 out here for the short corner should they choose to use it. But looks, Vargas is lining up as if he's going to put it straight in, which he does, and it comes to the 6-yard box, headed away by Hendry. And there's a couple of players down in the edge of the 6-yard box, one from each side. There's a head knock in there, and play has stopped to allow treatment to both players. There was some brave defending in there. I'm not sure who that is that's down holding their head for the Scots team, but he's in a fair degree of pain.
Ralston, I think. Yeah.
And just a worrying moment then for the Scots and Anthony Ralston in particular, but there's an opportunity to just get a bit of fluids on for the other players because it is warm here. I think about 22 degrees at kick-off, and pretty humid feeling as well. And the players have started very energetically, as the guys have been saying, and they do have that 1-goal advantage, and that just boosts the confidence levels, it boosts the energy levels as well, doesn't it?
They needed it, Alistair. They had to start the game well and show an intent, and they did that, and to get the goal just relieves so much pressure. You can hear the crowd, they're absolutely buzzing, and that transcends onto the pitch. The players have got such a lift from the supporters.
Anthony Ralston happily is at least sitting up, and he's actually getting slowly to his feet. He's a hardy boy, we know that, but no chances, of course, can be taken by head knocks. These days we know much more about that and the danger of it, but he looks to be okay. He's just making his way across the pitch just now. The Swiss player actually also looks a little bit shaken. And it's Schär who got the deflection on the McTominay goal to divert it past Jan Sommer, who's also coming across to the touchline here. I don't think they have to go off if a player from both sides has had treatment, but Schär is coming across to the touchline.
He's going to need a new shirt. He's got a bit of claret on his top. Yeah,
I just think at times when it's a head knock like that as well, they take both players off just to make sure that there is no blood, as Tomo described.
Yeah, the referee is telling Ralston he has to go off, you're right.
Yeah.
So both sides down to 10 just momentarily, as Steve Clark down there prowling at the edge of his technical area, but he'll be a whole lot happier than he was after 20 minutes in Munich, that's for sure.
Yeah, he'll be pleased. I just had a look at the rerun there of the goal whilst that breaking play, and the camera panned to Steve Clark. Just a cool, calm celebration, nothing over the top, nothing like the Swiss manager certainly that we've seen at the start of the game.
No, he won't be getting carried away, it's not really his style. As Switzerland pick up possession then, and still both players who had head knocks away to come back on, now they're way back on by the Slovakian referee. 20 minutes in, it's Scotland 1, Switzerland 0. Scott McTominay with the opener. I mean, scored 7 in qualifying, but Switzerland in possession on the right hand side, looking to get themselves back level. It's Ndoye just knocking it back the way. Now Scher back on the field of play, plays it infield to Akanji. He's put under a bit of pressure by Shea Adams, but no one closing off the pass to Freuler, and he gets it played to Shaqiri, and then back infield to Freuler from Widmer. Shaqiri once more tries to play the ball inside Robertson. It's a good run from Widmer, a good challenge though from Robertson, but it will be another Swiss corner. They're racking them up here in the early stages. I think that's a 4th, and Scotland with a bit more defending to do here to preserve their advantage, but they do have an advantage crucially. They lead by a goal to 0.
Really good play actually that from Switzerland down the right hand side. Lovely pass from Shaqiri into Widmer, showing a good turn of pace. Andy Robertson defended the situation really well.
Shaqiri once more then with a left foot curls one into the 6-yard box. It's off the head of Hanley this time, high in the air. McGregor was beaten in there by Freuler, comes back into the 6-yard box, helped away again though, and Robertson gets it up towards the halfway line. Scotland just need to get themselves up the park a bit and regain control of the game. They don't want to let the Swiss begin to dictate things, as Freuler has it inside the Scotland half, out to the right hand side. It's Ndoye, and then flick forward. Freuler's well offside, no flag as yet from the assistant, as McTominay picks up possession and tries to play it out of danger, finds Gilmour on the edge of the box. Scotland keeping cool. That's terrific play, really is very composed, and now it's Robertson left hand side crossing the halfway line, getting forward once more, pokes it beyond one Swiss player, but across goes Akanji to stop him in his tracks and play it back to Jan Sommer, and Switzerland can begin again from the back.
So much composure shown there at Leanne. We didn't see that once in the Germany game, popping the ball about our own 18-yard box, 4 or 5 passes under pressure, brilliant. Switzerland have won it in the middle of the park. Gilmour caught in possession, and forward comes Scher, plays it to the right hand side now for Xhaka. Xhaka, who had such a wonderful season with the unbeaten Bayer Leverkusen side domestically, winning the league and cup double. He was a crucial part of that. Here's Shaqiri. Suggestions that his career is on the wane perhaps out in the MLS, but still a hugely potentially influential player as Switzerland knock it about inside Scotland territory. Forward comes Scher once more, tries to play that ball inside Robertson. Widmer's done well to get it across, but the offside flag goes up on this occasion. It'll be a Scotland free kick deep in their own half, and after 23.5 minutes it's Scotland 1, Switzerland 0.
Yeah, it's given us offside, but again it's nice play from Switzerland. They're unfortunate just to be marginally offside. You can see that that's probably a pattern of play, Tomo, that they've worked on. They're looking to try and just exploit that space between Kieran Tierney and Andy Robertson, just as they look to try and draw Robertson out and then penetrate that area. It's been a better kind of 5-10 minute spell this for Switzerland, putting us under a bit of pressure, but thankfully nothing has come of it so far.
Yeah, nothing for Angus Gunn to do as yet, so we hope that remains the case for the remainder of the game as Gunn prepares to take the free kick from just outside his penalty area. Down the left it goes. It's McTominay challenging for it. He's gone down holding his head as if he was caught, but the referee takes a moment and then does stop play. Not sure how much there was actually in that, but he does seem to be rubbing the back of his head, McTominay.
We've got a wee look at it now, Alistair. He jumps for the header. There's maybe just a slight knock in the back of his head. I think he'll be okay. Won't need the physios on, I would imagine. He's still holding it right enough.
Yeah, the referee was about to restart play there, but McTominay is taking his time to get back up. He's got the crucial involvement in the game so far. Deflected effort past Jan Sommer in the Swiss goal, another ultra-experienced member of that Swiss side, the 35-year-old Inter-keeper. Here he is, playing it out to the left to Ricardo Rodriguez, who himself is making his 117th appearance for his country. They are a side who always seem to qualify. Not only do they qualify, they always, certainly in the last 5 tournaments, have got to the knockout stage, and they will be very much hoping to continue that run. But they'll have to do something about this scoreline tonight, as Sommer again plays it out to the left-hand side for Rodriguez, who'll bring it forward up to the halfway line, then slides it forward. It's a poor ball. Hanley cuts it out, finds Gilmore. Gilmore chests it down. That's a slack ball from Ralston. He's giving it to Shaqiri. What a goal! And Anthony Ralston has sold the jerseys, and Shaqiri has made him pay by finding the top corner. And Scotland, after all the good work, find themselves level as Ralston plays it straight into the path of Shaqiri, and from 22 yards, first time he knocks it beyond Angus Gunn, and it's Scotland 1, Switzerland 1.
It's just so incredibly slack. Billy Gilmore pops it off to Ralston. He doesn't even look, tries to pop it back inside to the centre half. But what I would say after that, the finish is absolutely world class.
That's a lovely finish. Listen, take nothing away from Shaqiri, but it's just so frustrating because Scotland have worked so hard to get their noses in front in this game. The first touch initially from Hanley, it was heavy to Gilmore, but Gilmore deals with it really well. He drops the ball back to Ralston. He angles again to receive the ball. Billy Gilmore wants the ball passed forward to him, and Anthony Ralston, it's just a lazy pass backwards, and it's something that the Swiss will have identified in terms of how negative Scotland can be at times. When the ball goes back, we've already, Tom, identified the high line at times that Scotland have got and how aggressively they're squeezing the game. But what a finish from Shaqiri.
It's just so avoidable, isn't it?
It's a real sickener, and now Jack Henry's giving it away.
Honestly,
as well. Scotland have to just regain the composure. They have to put that behind them and start again. But that was Xherdan Shaqiri's 32nd goal for his country, and what a finish it was. I said a couple of minutes ago that his career might be on the way, not on the evidence of that finish.
You know your stuff, Al.
But what a finish it was. Absolutely incredible from Xherdan Shaqiri. He still had a lot of work to do, to be fair, when Ralston gave it to him, but he did it with aplomb. Angus Gunn diving away to his right. He had absolutely no chance of reaching that. We couldn't even say he was particularly out of position. But,
no, I mean, I said it, Al, that is world class what you've just seen there. To hit the ball on the run like he was, it was just sensational.
He barely looked, did he? He barely looked up. He just knew where he was, what he was doing.
Class.
And Switzerland have a very cheap equaliser. We've seen some really cracking goals at this Euros already, and that is right up there. And here's a chance for Vidmar. Gets the shot away, but it's over the top, and Scotland allowing him the freedom of the penalty area. Scotland are rocking. I can imagine, Jane, that the atmosphere behind that goal is somewhat different now.
They have absolutely woken up after that equaliser, and a stunning goal it was as well. I have to say, I think I'm now wearing half of the beer that they've thrown out in celebration as that goal went in. But yeah, just listen to them. They're absolutely lapping it up now, aren't they? And I would imagine that will just translate onto the pitch and just give the Swiss side an extra little boost, won't it? Yeah, but listen, that goal was worthy of the applause and the vocal noise that's coming from these Swiss fans now. It was brilliant to see.
72% possession in this opening 28 minutes for the Swiss, and they've made it pay eventually with the equaliser. But Scotland had started the game well, got the opening goal, and they just need to get back to doing what they were doing in the opening quarter of an hour. As Shea Adams battles away for possession, he's flying into the challenge, and he's caught a Swiss player there, and he's given away a free kick. And the Swiss are not happy about it. Granit Xhaka is making his point clear.
There's nothing in that challenge at all.
No, it certainly didn't look like there was. Like, there's contact just as Shea Adams comes through the challenge, but nothing that merits rolling about
on the ground. You can tell straight away it wasn't a
Abishar looking to try and get the player booked, essentially. You know, he's back up on his feet, and now he's in possession, going down the left-hand side. He's played it in behind for Vargas. Vargas in a good position, tries to find Ndoye. Good defending in the end there from Hanley to get it away, but Scotland are rather at 6s and 7s just at the moment. That goal has really knocked their confidence. And here's Ralston, the man who is really the guilty party in giving it away. Don't want to really be too harsh on any one player, but he was just slack with his pass. He didn't look, and he gave it straight to Xherdan Shaqiri, and he did the rest. 1-1 it stands as the half hour ticks around here in the Cologne Stadium. Callum McGregor picks up possession for Scotland, midway inside his own half, out to the left to Robertson. Robertson back to Hanley, but 15 yards outside his own penalty. Yes, Leanne, you're saying Scotland need to move themselves up the park as a collective, don't they?
Yeah, I'm just looking at, I mean, we're in possession. Jack Henry's kind of fanned out in terms of the back three in this right-hand side, but Tony Ralston's, his movement's coming towards Jack Henry too early. I think he needs to go and push Ibisher further back the pitch, just to create a bit more space for the Scotland midfield to look to try and work the ball and angle the ball.
Almost caught there by Rodriguez. First yellow card of the game goes to Ricardo Rodriguez of Switzerland for his challenge there on Gilmour.
He's hardly touched him. He's unlucky.
The initial point of contact was probably just a bit high, Tomo, I think, just above the shin guard mark where it would be.
I think the referee's view of that and maybe what Billy Gilmour made of it has made it look worse than it was, certainly.
It was good hold-up play from Shea Adams, I have to say. He linked the play well to Billy Gilmour, who got up to support him and knocked it past Rodriguez, but the referee deemed it's definitely a foul, but for me, harsh yellow.
Free kick on the halfway line then to Scotland, right-hand side, to be taken by Jack Henry. 31 played in Cologne. Scotland won through Scott McTominay, but equalised by Xherdan Shaqiri. 1-1 it stands as the free kick is headed away as far as Xhaka, who just rolls it back to his goalkeeper from about 25 yards out. Short ball out to Akanji. He's pressed by McTominay, but he's spread play out to Cher. The slightly dicey ball, but Shaqiri just flicks it on nicely, and then Xhaka plays it forward. It's good play now. Ndoye for Vargas up against Hendry, slips it to Ndoye inside the penalty area. Ndoye onto the right foot, great save from Angus Gunn to tip it wide. It was on target, it was heading for the back of the net, and Angus Gunn steps up and saves his country from going behind. 1-1 it stands.
Well, you were saying you've seen some good goals in this tournament. That was the goal of the tournament if it goes in. It was unbelievable football. That's
what you talk about, counter-attacking football. 1 and 2 touch play, absolutely sliced Scotland open.
It's a good save from Gunn, isn't it?
He does really well.
Fingertip save, vital.
Yeah, Scotland certainly on the back foot just at the moment. Switzerland certainly on top, particularly having got that equaliser. And Dan Ndoye standing at the back post, completely unmarked here as the corner comes in, but it goes to the near post, and Billy Gilmour, the smallest man in the pitch, gets his head to it. Out comes Gunn, he hasn't got there. Ndoye's turned it in! And Switzerland have turned it round, but the offside flag is up to save Scotland momentarily. At least VAR will have a look at it, but there was again a scramble in there. Scotland not dealing with it at all well. Gunn came off his line, didn't get there, and Ndoye turns it into the net. Did he come from an offside position? That's what we're going to ask ourselves here.
I think he might just be off the left
he looks
half of his body, but Gunn was absolutely all over the place there. Really lucky, Gunn, if this does not stand. I mean, it's inches we're talking here for the offside, but Gunn flies over his line, doesn't get anywhere near it. It's tapped into the net. I think it will end up being offside. Yeah, offside.
Well, thank goodness for that, but Scotland really need to regroup, and quickly, because although Angus Gunn made a really good save just a minute ago, he was caught out there, and Dan Ndoye looked like he'd taken advantage, but the offside flag by the skin of Scotland's teeth has saved them. And so it remains Scotland 1, Switzerland 1 after 33 minutes as Shea Adams looks to try and make an impact at the other end, and Gilmour goes down. Not too much in that, and the referee didn't think so either as he waves Gilmour away.
As much as we've spoke about Scotland starting the game better, certainly it wasn't going to take much to be a better start than Friday night, certainly. But I just feel there's still a real nervousness running through the team. Even before Switzerland get that equaliser, the couple of occasions that Scotland gave away the cheap corners, slack back passes, we're looking at Angus Gunn coming out there, not really getting close to it. There just has to just be that little bit of calmness, a bit of composure, and keep your structure out of possession as well. I almost feel that any time Switzerland want to turn it on just now and really go and get at Scotland, they're getting an opportunity of success, and that for me is a bit of a concern.
It's a throw into Switzerland midway inside their own half, right-hand side. Far side as we look at it. John McGinn hasn't been able to get involved in the game as yet out on that left-hand side. Flick forward by Robertson. McTominay just nods it down from midway inside the Swiss half. Knocked forward, and Angus Gunn will come all the way out of his goal midway into the centre of the park and plays it to Hendry. Hendry for Hanley. Hanley for McGregor, offering himself. Over the halfway line comes Scotland, and it's McGinn into McTominay. McTominay away from Akanji, but he can't find the pass. Out for a throw-in on the far side.
we do look a wee bit rattled, I have to say. You know, we started the game so well, first 15 or so minutes, then Switzerland came into the game, but in the last 10 minutes we have been a wee bit all over the place. We just need to get our foot in the ball, make a few passes, just calm everything down.
I just feel it looks slightly dysfunctional, even when it builds up from Angus Gunn. I'm looking at Tony Ralston in this right-hand side, as I had identified. I'm not sure. He's almost in a position where he doesn't know whether to stick or twist. Can he go and attack? Can he get higher up the pitch? Is it that he's worried and there is a bit of nervousness and that's why he's just hanging back? But I just don't see where we create the space to get the likes of John McGinn and Scott McTominay on the ball in those kind of the 10 pockets of space just in front of the Swiss back line, that you can then allow Robertson to come and support the play, allow Gilmour to come and support underneath it.
Here is Gilmour. He started the game well, offering that composure in the middle of the park that you knew he would. Gets it back here from Callum McGregor just inside the Swiss half, plays it back onto more or less the centre circle for Hanley. Now it's Kieran Tierney out to the left hand side for Robertson. Robertson creates a big good ball into McTominay, left hand side. He has to turn back the way though to Tierney just inside his own half, and now it's McGregor. Plays it square to Jack Hendry on the halfway line. Ralston's available out here on the right flank, but he goes back in field to McGregor. A poor touch from him, and he's forced into kind of evasive action there, and Shaqiri went down looking for the free kick, but the referee says no, and Scotland continue with it, but they haven't got too many ideas in terms of coming forwards. Now it's Hendry looking for Ralston. Ralston right hand side, quickly pressurised there by Vargas. Back to Hendry it goes. Now down the right channel, one for Adams to go and try and pressurise Rodriguez. He's done well. It's Adams winning possession. Now it's McTominay, edge of the box. Oh, he just stands on the ball. But Scotland are going to get an advantage here, or a free kick brought back, because Adams was fouled before he played the pass. And got a bit of a break there from the referee, it looks like. And they'll take it all day long. Free kick about 30 odd yards out.
It was slightly better play from us. We kept the ball a bit better in that sequence of play. There was just a wee tiny clip on Adams as he released the ball into McTominay before he stood on it, and the rest good refereeing, he's brought it back, and this is an opportunity for us, probably about 30 yards out. Slight angle, but I imagine it'll get stood up to the back post for the bigger lads to go and attack.
You can see Austin McPhee out at the edge of the technical area, just trying to get an instruction on here to the free kick taker, who is Scott McTominay.
There's John doing his one where he stands in the goal again.
Yeah, it didn't really come off against Germany, and he's changed his mind. He's coming back out onto the edge of the 18-yard box. So it's right of centre. Scott McTominay looking to play this one into the danger area and find a second Scotland goal. In it goes. It's flicked on by Hendry. Back post is Hanley, but the free kick is given, I think, for the challenge initially by Hendry and winning the first header, and it will be a free kick to Switzerland. We've played almost 38 minutes here in Cologne. It's Scotland 1, Switzerland 1.
That wasn't the best delivery, I would need to say, from Scott McTominay. Austin McPhee's trying to get instructions on just in terms of the delivery and what he was looking for.
Scotland have won it in a good position once more. It's McGregor midway inside the Switzerland half, out to the left hand side for Robertson. Chooses not to go forward though, and back to Hanley instead. Now it's Gilmour, who is trying to dictate things, but he's giving it away to Freuler, and then Xhaka plays it back to Akanji, edge of his box. Scotland will go and try and press him, the Man City man, but as usual he remains calm and finds the pass back to Freuler, one of Lewis Ferguson's Bologna teammates. He's played it infield. It's a poor ball for Xhaka actually, and he was under pressure. McTominay, and then Freuler again compounds the error by putting it out of play. It'll be a Scotland throw-in deep in Swiss territory on the left hand side, and well, Switzerland clearly not immune to mistakes of their own.
Well, the difference is, you know, McTominay's putting Xhaka under severe pressure there straight away, something we didn't do when the ball was rolled into midfielders in the Germany game.
It's back to the halfway line again with the Scots in possession through Hendry. Hendry looking up and plays it down the channel for Adams, who takes it on the chest, a good bit of control, and then finds Ralston, who's coming up in support. It was a poor attempted cross, but it might even find Andy Robertson over on that far side. It wasn't what he was attempting, I'm fairly sure, but it does remain in Scotland possession. And now it's Tierney about 30 yards from goal, back the way to Hanley. Scotland get plenty of players in an advanced position as Gilmour plays it into McTominay in a central area. Now back with McGregor, an overload out on the left hand side with Tierney and Robertson. Robertson has it, back with McTominay now, midway inside the Swiss half. Better possession here from Scotland. Can they do anything meaningful with it? It's now Hendry out to the right hand side. Ralston again quickly pressurised, has to go back the way. They've clearly identified that as something that's worthwhile doing, putting Tony Ralston under pressure in that right wing back position.
It is out, and do you know why? Because Tony Ralston is a right back. he's not a wing back, and it's so apparent in this game, and I don't mean to discredit him because he's a really good footballer, but what is so clear is that he is much more comfortable receiving the ball with the game ahead of him.
Robertson making a good run. Akanji comes across to nod it behind for a corner. Terrific ball over the top there from Tierney. Robertson was on the run and he couldn't quite get there ahead of Akanji, but Scotland do have a corner after 40 minutes. 1-1.
It just helps with Robertson's starting position. He's already 50 yards in front of Tierney when Tierney plays that pass. It was really good defending from Akanji to get across, but it's something again we didn't see in the Germany game. He was back in beside Tierney in the Germany game.
Yeah.
Scotland looking to move back in front before half time as McTominay goes across to the left hand side to take this corner. What can he produce here? A couple of runs to the near post, he swings it in, back post, Adams is there. Sommer clutches at the second attempt. They're claiming for a corner. I don't think it did go behind as Sommer grabbed it second time around. It was a good move. Everyone was attracted to the near post. Adams was lurking at the back post, but he couldn't quite get it. Sneak it past Sommer, and here comes Switzerland at the other end, right hand side. They're coming forward. Is Vidmar on that right flank, plays a good ball in, it's just over Ndoye, and Ralston will pick up at the back post here and try and play it down the right flank. Adams looking to make a nuisance of himself. Ebisher and he both hit the deck. The referee just says 6 of one, half a dozen of another, get on with it. And the Swiss have done that. Here's the goal scorer Shaqiri out to the left hand side for Ndoye, up against Ralston, into the penalty area he comes. Ralston backpedaling, Ndoye still has it, knocks it back now. Xhaka goes for goal, pushed away by Angus Gunn, gets good distance on it, but it will come out to the right hand side, and it's back into the area. Overhead kick attempt in there, doesn't come off, but Scotland still having to defend. Switzerland pick up once more through Rodriguez, midway inside the Scotland half, out to Ebisher, left hand side. Ndoye quickly closed down by Gilmour. It's end-to-end stuff in the closing stages of this first period. 1-1 it stands.
Yeah, it's intense, it really is. Billy Gilmour, I would need to say, he's been brilliant in this half. A couple of moments, yes, a couple of misplaced passes, but he's looking to cover every blade of grass.
Here comes Ndoye again into the penalty area, trying to get past Hendry. He just hits the deck far too easily. Very hopeful if he's looking for a penalty for that. He just was brushed by Hendry and he hit the deck, but Switzerland have possession back once more. Ebisher plays it down the left, maybe an offside against Vargas. Yes, says the assistant on the far side. The flag goes up, Scotland kick, 42.5 played. Scotland 1, Switzerland 1.
The game's been weird, you know, we started it so well and then Switzerland came right back into it, and in the last 5 minutes there we had a good wee spell. We're starting to look at a threat again, and you're just concerned every time Switzerland go forward. You're kind of concerned a wee bit. They look very, very dangerous, and we don't look overly convincing defensively.
Scotland free kick then just outside their own penalty area to be taken by Angus Gunn, who on the whole has had a good game, a couple of good saves. Slightly worrying moment when Ndoye knocked the ball into the net, but it was offside. So it's 1-1 as Adams tries to bring it under control. He's had more impact in this game, certainly more touches of the ball, that's for sure. He didn't manage one at all in the opposition box, but Ndoye here almost poking it beyond the last Scotland defender, but he's just slightly too heavy and it goes all the way through to Angus Gunn. We've got just under a couple of minutes left to half time. 1-1 it stands. Here's Gilmour, sorry there.
No, I was just going to say it's been a bit of a scrappy game, isn't it? Although it's hard to believe we're 43.5 minutes played, I just feel like it's gone by in a flash. I don't know how the players must be feeling out there, whether they feel that they've had any sort of control over the first half. There's certainly a lot more positives for us to take forward in the game.
Scotland have it deep in their own half. It's Kieran Tierney out to the left hand side for Robertson, back with Tierney midway inside his own half. Sure, if you'd offered Steve Clarke a 1-1 at half time, he'd probably have taken it. Certainly probably would take that at full time as well. And it's pretty much a scoreline a lot of us have discussed as being a relatively likely outcome, maybe not anymore, but 1-1 it stands in the final minute of the 45, with probably 2 or 3 to add for a couple of stoppages that there's been. Tierney brings it forward and finds his former Celtic teammate Callum McGregor, the highly decorated Celtic captain. Back to Tierney now, about 15 yards inside the Scotland half. Scotland just slowing it down. They've actually, the ball possession now stands at 44% in Scotland's favour, which is significantly more than when I last mentioned it about 20 minutes ago. So they have had a little bit more control of the ball as the ball is turned back to Angus Gunn inside the penalty area. Scotland 1, Switzerland 1. You're listening to Sports Sound on BBC Radio Scotland and on Sounds. Remember, you've got our daily football podcast on Sounds. We're bringing you all the news from the Euros on a daily basis. As Jack Hendry gets his head to the ball under pressure there from Vargas, he barges him in the back there as the Swiss player, and it'll be a cheap Scotland free kick right on the halfway line, more or less. As I'm not sure, did the fourth official show 3 minutes?
I didn't see a board, I saw it.
3 minutes.
3 minutes, I think it was out.
Yeah. So 3 minutes to half time as Scotland prepare to take this free kick from just inside their own half. Austin McPhee and Steve Clark out on the edge of the technical area. The fourth official saying only one of you is supposed to be out here, and ushering one of them back, but neither of them taking much heed as Jack Hendry prepares to play this one into the Swiss half from the dead ball situation up towards the edge of the penalty area. McGinn is challenging for it, does get his head to it, but it's easily picked up by Vidmer just inside his penalty area. Doy can't make anything of the ball forward. He's complaining to the referee, but I mean, there's nothing remotely wrong with what Kieran Tierney was doing there, and Scotland had the ball back. It's Billy Gilmour and Callum McGregor, the two controllers in the middle of the park, both of them so comfortable in tight situations, and it's assuring to have them both in there, and they've begun to get a bit of control, as I say, as the half is worn on. But it's 1-1 as Ralston picks up and he comes back in field and he's under a bit of pressure there from Ebisher. He eventually goes down. It'll be a Scotland free kick midway inside their own half, taken quickly by McGregor.
Every time Tony Ralston receives the ball, he's running back towards his own goal and he starts going in the park, and you worry for him because he's looking for options. He never receives the ball on the half turn and opens it up to go forward.
Nor does he ever use his left foot, Tomo. It's something I've never quite seen anything like it. He's driving inside the pitch, and at no point just turn the ball into a channel, turn the ball into a striker. Shea Adams is looking for the ball.
Tierney goes long again. Robertson again is in a very high position. Akanji will be there first, and he pretends he's going to head it, and then he just lets the ball drop onto his thigh and knocks it back to Jan Sommer, who will clear first time left-footed. Out of play, obviously didn't fancy that one on his left foot, and it's out of play for a Scotland throw midway inside the Swiss half, right hand side, to be taken by Ralston. Back the way to Hendry. About 30 seconds of added on time left to play at the end of this first period. 1-1 between Scotland and Switzerland in the second game in Group A for both these sides. Hanley now plays it down the right hand side. He's actually an awful lot of Tony Ralston there, far too much in the end, out of play, and there won't be too much more action, I don't think, in this first period. Scotland starting really well out the traps very quickly, getting the opening goal, but they were pegged back after a Ralston mistake, and that's why it's one apiece heading into the half-time interval. As Rodriguez prepares to take this throw in deep in his own half, left-hand side, and there's the referee's half-time whistle. Scotland, well, they were quickly off the mark. 13 minutes it took Scott McTominay to notch the opening goal after a terrific break forward that involved Robertson and McGregor. McGregor's ball back to Scott McTominay. He lashed it goalwards. It looked like it was on target. Fabian Schär deflected it beyond Jan Sommer, and that put the Scots in front in a terrific position, and they were looking good, albeit the Swiss began to come more and more into it. And then an unforced error from Anthony Ralston. He played a blind pass effectively back towards his own box, didn't see Xherdan Shaqiri there. Shaqiri latched onto it, and without looking really, from about 25 yards, just lofted the ball into the top corner beyond Angus Gunn. A really classy finish from the Swiss veteran to equalise for the Swiss. Switzerland then went on to have the better of the play beyond that, but then Scotland just gradually grew more into it without really troubling Jan Sommer too much in the Swiss goal. It's still very much all to play for, and certainly better from Scotland, but it couldn't have got much worse after Friday, let's be honest. But in Cologne at half-time, it's Scotland 1, Switzerland 1.
Scotland versus Switzerland. Sports Sound, live from Cologne.
And that could be monumental!
Bringing UEFA Euro 2024 home.
Listen on BBC Radio Scotland and Sounds.
This is where it begins, here.
On BBC iPlayer, you'll find what you love.
Here comes a cabaret.
I'm Detective Sergeant Rebus.
And love what you find.
Oh my gosh, it's all come down to me. Who do I choose?
Discover gripping thrillers.
You serious?
Yes, looking good, actually.
Or comedy box sets.
Oh yeah, very good. I'll bring my kids. Make a day of it.
Live stream BBC TV.
Unbelievable!
And binge watch brilliant shows.
This is good. We're gonna have some fun.
The best way to watch TV.
Push the button.
BBC iPlayer.
Certainly a gripping game here in Cologne this evening. Scotland won, Switzerland won. The stadium packed full, so much colour, and my goodness, there's been plenty in the opening 45 minutes. We've heard a lot from Stephen Thompson and Leanne Crichton. We'll get more thoughts from them. We'll bring in the Scotland striker Lyndon Dykes in just 1 minute. He's rejoined us. Thanks very much for doing that, Lyndon. First of all, let's go back to Willie Miller. He's watching the game back in Aberdeen. What did you make of that first half, Willie?
Well, a really good start. The guys have been saying that. I think that's what was required, early on, and getting themselves up the park and engaging with the opposition and winning corners. So for 10-15 minutes, and then you get the goal as well. Listen, I don't know what Cher is thinking about. That is a dolly for Sommer. It's not a great strike. The goalkeeper's right behind it. He's taking it in the midriff. He's got his hands down. It's going nowhere near the back of the net, and then the defender sticks his toe on it, and thankfully for us we get a little bit of good fortune. You then felt that the Swiss started to take control of the game, and we didn't have the same intensity. I thought that the back three, back five were going far too deep and needed to push up, and the Swiss gained a lot of the possession and a lot of the impetus going forward, and the goal was just sensational. Okay, Anthony Ralston, he'll hold his hand up. It was a poor pass back, but Shaqiri, I mean, they don't come much better than that, I would suggest, with the left foot. And Angus gone nowhere near it, absolutely nowhere. He couldn't. That is going with, so much intensity, so much speed, and it's right in the top corner. So no blaming the goalkeeper in that one. Anthony Ralston, he'll be regretting making that pass inside, but in terms of the quality of the goal, it's right up there. It definitely is world class. Listen, we come back into it towards the end of the first half as well. It looked as though maybe the Swiss were going to control it. A lot of possession. I think it was 72% at one time, but we fought back, and we're looking, a lot happier going towards the end of the first half. So good game of football for me. The guys were saying a bit scrappy, but at least there was intent there. I think there has been good tempo to the game from both sides, good intent from both sides as well. So enjoying the first half, and probably a fair enough result, I would say, at half-time.
Yeah, a very tough one to call. Lyndon Dykes has joined us here in a commentary position in Cologne, high above the dugouts here in the main stand. Lyndon, thanks very much for coming back on to Sports. So what did you make of that opening 45?
I think it was a good start. You could see that we're controlling the ball a lot much more with the midfield. The three of them, McTominay, McGregor and Billy, obviously doing very well all together, moving well. We obviously got a bit fortunate with the goal, but it was a great counter from our own, defending our own box from a corner. Great movement from everyone getting forward. You've seen everyone running forward there. Billy started off with a great touch. Robbo, great pace getting up the pitch, and Cal McGregor with a little bit of cool calm and right in that box there. You could easily lash that straight across, but he took a touch and looked for McTominay. Obviously Swiss came into it a little bit at the end there. Unfortunate for Ralston. Look, it's a top finish. I don't even think anyone expected him to hit him first time, and an absolute peach of a goal. And we took a little bit after that to get back into it, but we have to make sure we have to not give too much away. Obviously they had another chance and they scored it, but luckily VAR was on our side.
Yeah, a real energy, I think it's fair to say, Lyndon, about this performance here in Cologne this evening. You said Andy Robertson getting right high up the park, and McTominay looks back to his best tonight, right on it.
Yeah, definitely. I think it just all helps that we're trying to press forward. Boys are getting forward, and there's just options on the ball. You see McTominay getting in good spaces up high, and when the boys have the ball, there's chances to pass. Billy getting on the ball, passing it. The defenders win the ball back, there's chances to pass. So that's what I think we've definitely improved on tonight, and that's helping everyone, and then it's helping us get forward because we've got bodies up high. I think we probably should maybe get little McGinn maybe a bit more on the ball. And I think Shea's been doing well on that left side. I think Rodriguez has got a yellow card and looks a bit dodgy, so maybe we can get onto him a little bit more. But I think all in all, we can take the positives and make sure we tighten up and don't give any more chances away.
It's a good point, Stephen, isn't it, about John McGinn? We've not heard his name often enough because you know the quality he's got in this first half. And I was saying before the game, I think I said on Friday night, feeling sorry is a wrong term, but it's been so tough for Anthony Ralston, hasn't it, in these two games? Every time he gets that ball, he's immediately under pressure.
Yeah, but I mean, the goal was just it's an error. I feel when he's receiving the ball, he's always coming back the way, and it's because he's under pressure, he's doing that. But maybe his starting position's wrong because he's always having to come back the pitch, and then he's getting himself in one or two wee bits of trouble into a wee bit of a fanko. It's definitely the left-hand side's been good for us in the first half. Robertson's made a lot of really good runs. His starting position's been much higher this evening. He's looked a real threat. His impact for the goal was absolutely brilliant. The energy he showed, it was brilliant from Billy Gilmour in the middle of the pitch as well. And McTominay made a 90-yard run to get up at the edge of the box. So it was a brilliant goal, albeit a wee bit of a deflection. I feel as though defensively at times we've looked a wee bit suspect. A couple of dodgy passes, and they've opened us up once or twice. Remember, we were a wee bit fortunate with the one that got called offside from VAR because it's inches. But by and large, I'm really pleased with the first half. I think we've shown an awful lot more energy, an awful lot more intent in forward areas. Getting John on the ball has been an issue in this half, without a shadow of a doubt. He's really struggled to find the space to get the ball turned and drive like he's so good at with the ball and cause problems. But I feel as though Billy Gilmour's been excellent in the middle of the pitch. His composure on the ball, his passing, excellent. But the amount of, Leanne talked about during commentary, the amount of work he's putting in has been phenomenal. So there's lots to be positive about. I mean, it's to be in it 1-1 at half time. If the game finishes 1-1, it's a great result. It's a great result. But we are capable of creating more opportunities in this second half. I just worry because at times when Switzerland do click, they look very, very good.
Well, on that point, Len, it's important to applaud, to appreciate good play. That move they had in 32 minutes was absolutely
brilliant, wasn't it?
Electric. Yeah, and matched by a great save from Angus Gunn. But it was just a reminder, wasn't it, what this team's capable of?
Aye, they're a good side, look, and I think that's probably where they're at their best, is when you go and open up against them. They'll move the ball really slick, 1 and 2 touch passing. They've got a lot of pace in their side, a lot of intent to get from one end of the pitch to the other. But I mentioned it in commentary, I just feel still there's a nervousness about Scotland that perhaps is just offering the Swiss just a bit more of an incentive than you would like to be giving them at certain points. For me, a couple of cheap corners, which I think at any level of the game, set pieces you always identify as a huge opportunity to go and score in matches. In Scotland, have probably given away 2 or 3 that were easily avoidable. Tom was touched on the positives there in terms of individuals, but I just feel either we need to sacrifice, looking at it this right hand side, as I've mentioned about Tony Ralston, either you sacrifice him and he tucks in almost as a right back and moves into the pitch centrally, which then allows you to be much more aggressive in that left hand side of the pitch, where Andy Robertson can go and get a bit more success, get 40-50 yards higher up the pitch and push Kieran Tierney on with him and use Ralston as the anchor. Because for me, Tony Ralston doesn't want to be that high in the game at any point. That's why every time he receives it, his body is closed off, and every pass that he makes virtually goes back the way, which I know it's a slack back pass, but what the Swiss had identified beforehand was that that's his most common choice of pass. So when he gets his head down, Shaqiri's already locked onto the fact that the ball's going to arrive. Yes, it's a world-class finish, it's absolutely top drawer. Angus Gunn doesn't stand a chance, but I just feel Scotland need to be a bit smarter, because we've lost. We need to put our hands up. We don't have Aaron Hickey there, we don't have Nathan Patterson, who are 2 really strong attacking wing-backs stroke full-backs. Anthony Ralston for me is not that same type of player, so you can't ask him to do the same type of job. I think somebody else needs to then come and fill that void, whether it is a midfielder popping into that wide area, or you rely on Shea Adams a bit more to go and spin the channel and then allow your central midfielders to go and take that space centrally. But there's so many positives in terms of just the energy that the players showed, just being a lot braver. Absolutely loving Billy Gilmour in there. Lyndon described him as a baller.
Yeah.
His touch, his Callum McGregor 100% passing in the first half. Gilmour, he's covered the most amount of distance out of both teams. you can see that Scotland, they've got a bit more about them, but I just feel this Swiss side will punish you if you allow them.
Yeah, and we saw a half chance, didn't we, for Shea Adams just towards the half time there, Lyndon. It wasn't a full chance, it was at the back post. Again, he's feeding off scraps tonight. He's working really hard.
Yeah, he's definitely working hard. I think obviously he got that half chance off a corner, which is obviously where we can score from corners, and it's you've seen earlier doors we won a few back-to-back, which was good for the boys. They got the confidence up. The crowd was loving us being up high. But yeah, it's a tough role. I think we just have to believe that we can get forward. We did when we scored the goal. You've seen the numbers getting forward, and it ended in a goal. But we have to make sure we don't open up too much, because like the guys are saying here, the Swiss obviously have got great players. The front three are kind of rotating all three positions. Shaqiri's kind of dropping in, but when he gets involved, he does something special. And again, that goal was a great finish.
Yeah, it was world class, Willie. As you said, Anthony Ralston mistake aside, what have you made of the defensive setup tonight?
I think it's looked quite solid. I feel that they've defended the box particularly well. The corners that the Swiss began to pile up, once he took control of the game after that first 15 minutes or so. And actually the goal came from McTominay being superb in the box and clearing the header, and then deciding to rampage forward and get on the end of the other side, the other end of the pitch. I agree with what Leanne's saying about Anthony Ralston. He's just not, I don't think he's used to playing as wide as what he's playing. I think when he's on that byline, every touch is in the park, as you've already discussed, and he looks nervous too. And there's a great point that Leanne actually mentioned there. Why not sacrifice him and ask him to be that defensive player and tuck in and allow the left-hand side to be your creative side? I think that would work really well for us. I agree with Gilmore and McGregor. I think they give you, whenever we've had control of the game, it's because these two are on the ball, and they do give you that control and that accuracy. So all in all, I think the first half, there's a lot to be liked in the first half, and looking forward to the second.
Yeah, just final thoughts to yourself briefly, Lyndon. Would take a point. I think we'd all accept that now and go for it in the final game against Hungary. But we've seen enough here tonight to believe they can't actually take more, can't we?
100%. I think we all want to draw, but I think we should be going for the 3 points. I think they're here to be taken. We played well. I think maybe we should try and penetrate a little bit more their back line, get the boys forward, get McGinn, Shea on the ball, keep the ball with Billy and Cal, but when it's on to get the ball forward, we should try that a little bit more, get McTominay in the pocket turning, and keep the pressure on them.
Good stuff. Thanks for your time again. Lyndon Dykes joining us live on Sports. And let's get back to your commentary team of Stephen Thompson, Leanne Crichton and Al Lamont.
Thanks again, Kenny. Good to hear from Lyndon there. Switzerland about to get us back underway, going from left to right in this second half. No changes to either side from the starting 11s. So as you were, as the game is about to resume at one apiece, and all to play for. A point would put Switzerland in a terrific position in terms of going through and qualifying, and it wouldn't be a bad result at all for Scotland, as they would then go into the game against Hungary knowing a victory would pretty much certainly take them through. It's out for a throw-in down on this near side to Switzerland as they come forward down the right, and it's going to be Sylvain Widmer to take it. Quickly done, and he gets it back from Freuler, and he plays it off Andy Robertson. It's an early corner in this second period, inside the first 30 seconds or so on the right-hand side, as Switzerland look to move in front for the first time in the game, and it's the magical left foot of Xherdan Shaqiri who will swing this one in. We've seen already his deliveries are dangerous, but his finish, it's just really appreciating the replay of the finish at half-time there, as the ball does come in, it's headed away by McTominay, not for the first time, comes back out to Vargas, right-hand side, he plays it off the back of McGregor, and it'll be yet another Swiss corner here on the right-hand side. Shaqiri again, now down in front of the adoring Swiss fans on that right-hand side. Shaqiri then plays this one short to Vargas. Out comes McGregor, but it ball is quickly played into Freuler. Back to Shaqiri, just a different angle, and the offside flag is up. Came off the head of Jack Hendry, but the assistant points for the offside and the free kick to Scotland. I just wonder, Leanne, they've done it 2 or 3 times, Scotland only putting Callum McGregor out when there's an obvious overload now. So they've obviously just, they know that it's a possibility, but they've obviously decided we're not going to put another player out there.
Yeah, I think they've clearly identified that will be the option, but I think they've allowing themselves just enough time to adapt in terms of the type of delivery. Now, when the Swiss play that short corner, it's almost like they're just looking to change the point of attack as opposed to try and use the overload that is in that wide area. They're still looking to get the ball into the box, so I assume that Austin McPhee's identified that as being a more weaker target area, if you like, and by the time the ball then travels to Freuler, who's at the edge of the box, if they do manage to utilise the overload there, generally a Billy Gilmer or one of the midfielders is managing to go and close that space. So thankfully the Swiss haven't been able to capitalise on it just yet.
Yeah. So throw into Scotland over on the far side. 47 minutes played. Scotland 1, Switzerland 1 here in the Cologne Stadium. The second match day for Scotland and Switzerland in Group A. One apiece it stands as Scotland prepares to take this throw in. Ralston into his Celtic teammate McGregor, back to Ralston and then back onto the halfway line and onto the chest of Hanley, who brings it out to the left hand side to Tierney. Tierney on the halfway line, slides it into McGinn, who gets turned away from Scher, just back it in, hits the deck, free kick goes Scotland's way. Scher can't believe it. At last, John McGinn getting on the ball, getting on the half turn and just using his physicality and strength to win that free kick, Stephen Thompson.
Yeah, you could see he was keen to get turned, and it was a definite foul. The referee was looking at it for about 3 or 4 seconds before he actually gave it. John was backing in, doing what he always does. He eventually loses balance, but there was a foul just previous to that. Yeah, he needs to do more of that. He needs to get turned and get driving at the Swiss backline. Good opportunity this though. Andy Robertson over it for us.
Andy Robertson again listening to Austin McPhee, who's right out of the edge of the technical area, the set-piece expert in the Scotland coaching team. Here is Robertson, left-hand side. It's not a great delivery and it's headed away. It'll come back to Robertson, who plays it to Tierney, goes all the way back to Angus Gunn, who's about 10 yards outside his box. But disappointing delivery there from the skipper, but Gunn's knocked it back up towards the Swiss penalty area. Adams does well, then Robertson latches onto it. He can't keep control of it. He hits the deck looking for a free kick, but it was very, very optimistic, and it's out for a Scotland throw-in and no more.
Yeah, it was definitely optimistic from Andy Robertson. Nothing really in it.
He knew he wasn't going to get hold of the ball.
Just a bit of contact with Freuler's arm, just going to cross the body. But you're right, Al, just with the quality for the couple of set-piece opportunities that Scotland have had with the wide free kicks, just no real conviction in it, no real threat.
Tierney then lining up a long throw-in, more or less in line with the 18-yard box, and it comes left-hand side, away by Akanji outside the penalty area. Hanley and McGregor are almost getting in each other's way there. Comes back outside the box, but flicked back by Robertson. McTominay trying to get something on it. McTominay challenging Akanji. Akanji's gone down, he's still down. The referee's halting play. There's not a head injury. No. Why does he have to stop play?
He doesn't, he absolutely doesn't, unless he thought it was a head injury.
It's Akanji landed. Not.
No, Akanji wins the header, then lands really awkwardly. Yeah, but it's not, it definitely should have been stopped. We were in possession as well.
So infuriating that at times, regardless almost of the teams involved. I'm not just saying this because it was Scotland in possession, but Akanji goes down, but players go down all the time. You can't stop the game every time a player goes down.
No,
yeah, exactly. I can see Scott McTominay's just been booked for making that exact point to the referee.
Well, possibly because these players are not supposed to speak to the referee.
I know, but he's not doing it. He's not being aggressive or anything. I totally get the whole bit about surrounding the referee and maybe being over-aggressive and in the face. Scott McTominay's just asking the question, probably the same way we're sitting discussing it here.
Drop ball then to the Scots. Robertson goes back the way to Hanley. Hanley from just inside the Swiss half goes into the penalty area. Ralston was the target, doesn't get anything on it, and it's tamely behind for a goal kick to Switzerland. But a decent start again to the half from the Scots, you'd have to say. After 51 minutes, it's one apiece.
Yeah, I mean, obviously Switzerland had that wee run of corners right at the turn of the second half, the beginning of the second half, but again, it's been ebbing and flowing, the control of the game. The whole match has been like that. One team is a spell, then the other.
Jan Sommer knocks it over the halfway line. Hanley should be in charge of this, just turns it back to Angus Gunn, who stays calm and just knocks it to the side to Kieran Tierney. Darren Doy coming off second best in that challenge as he tried to close Angus Gunn down, and just rebounds off the big Norwich City keeper. Scotland coming forward down the right hand side. Here's Hendry looking in the channel for McTominay, who's a glance and in chest sit down. Akanji with him. McTominay's done really well to get it to Ralston. Now it's Gilmour midway inside the Swiss half, back in field to McGregor. Early ball for Tierney and out to the left hand side for Robertson. Good quick passing from Scotland. It's Robertson looking to take on Vidmer on the outside, just plays it off him. It'll be a throw into Scotland about 5 yards from the corner flag. Robertson looking to take it quickly. He's done that. Back to Tierney, midway inside the Swiss half. Now it's McGregor back to Tierney. Tierney will go back to Hanley on the halfway line and look to just change the angle once more as Hendry picks up halfway line. Ralston's outside of him. Hendry's been quickly closed down there by Vargas, and fortunately for Scotland it didn't really come to anything, but the move breaks down certainly, and now it's out for a Swiss throw in. 52 played, Scotland 1, Switzerland 1.
Yeah, just a couple of dodgy moments there. Jack Hendry first, and then Grant Hanley slipping as he made the clearance, but you're right, nothing coming of it.
Rodriguez back in field to Akanji. Lyndon Dykes was making a point there at half-time about Rodriguez. He's on a yellow and he hasn't looked all that sure of himself. Is that something that, like, Shea Adams does look like he's playing on him? Is that maybe the weak point in that back line?
I think you need to go and identify that, certainly, and get after it. I think Scott McTominay just a moment or two ago as well, he went as that kind of late run from midfield and looked to try and get on top of Rodriguez as well. And you need to ask questions of them. I say that all the time. As soon as a player's on a yellow card, look to try and commit them as much as you possibly can, because we know, especially at this level of the game, the referees can be quite rash.
Billy Gilmour just over hitting a 1-2 pass for McTominay. It's out of play for a Swiss throw-in, which is taken by Vidmer back to Fabian Schär. Saw a tweet at half-time. I knew that Xherdan Shaqiri had scored in the last 3 Euros now. Apparently he's the only player to have scored in the last 3 Euros and the last 3 World Cup, which is quite something, you'd have to say. He hasn't done all that much else in the game, but I mean,
you can see his quality. There's been a couple of occasions where he's just done wee one-touch passes or layoffs, and he's very, very comfortable on the ball. Very intelligent footballer.
Yeah, here he is in possession on the right-hand side, just flicks it back to Schär, who plays it infield to Freuler now. Shaqiri again closed down by McGregor, back to Schär. He's going to be closed down there by Adams, but he gets the pass down the right-hand side. Robertson gets his head to Hendry, will take one touch and then knock it back to Angus Gunn inside his own penalty area. Gunn first time up to the halfway line. McTominay beaten in there by Xhaka. Switzerland pick up possession through Evischer. Evischer has it back. He hasn't been as influential as he was in that first game against Hungary. But here's Akanji now on the edge of the centre circle, clips it out to the left-hand side. It's a good ball, and it's Rodriguez picking up. Rodriguez now left-hand side into Xhaka. Xhaka just tries to slide it in behind Hendry, and Doy just goes into the back of Hendry, does he? The referee has a look at it, but it's going to be a corner kick. No, not enough contact, he felt, on Hendry. He was desperate for the free kick to be given, but Switzerland have a corner instead.
Yeah, I felt the exact same, to be honest with you. I don't think there was enough to put Hendry to the ground. Probably good refereeing in the end, although it's against us.
So corner kick left-hand side for Switzerland. 1-1 it stands, 55 minutes played in the Cologne Stadium. Corner taken short. McGregor will go out there once more on his own, and swung into the danger area. Hanley gets a header clear as far as Xhaka, who will try and recycle it out to Rodriguez on the left-hand side. Switzerland looking to move in front for the first time in the game. They did have the ball in the net for a second time in the first half, but it was an offside against Ndoye. As the VAR worked in Scotland's favour. It's Evischer in possession of the ball just inside the Scotland half. Now Xhaka in a lot of space. He plays it out to Schär, right hand side of the penalty area. He'll knock it into the box all the way across to the left hand side. Shot could be on here, in it comes. Good handling by Gunn. It was a low shot, it bounced just in front of him in the 6-yard box, but he was able to grasp that and keep control of the ball, and so it remains after 56 minutes. Scotland 1, Switzerland 1.
Yeah, straightforward enough in the end for Angus Gunn, but certainly coming through the legs of Andy Robertson, which can always be a tricky one for a goalkeeper, just to see it at the last second almost, but he handles it well. Scotland fans as well getting into full voice, just trying to give the players a lift.
Ruben Vargas it was who took that shot from just outside the penalty area, well held by Angus Gunn. Yeah, I mean, the Tartan Army with that incredible backing as they sing the national anthem. And I know it has its statistics as a national anthem, as a song, but I mean, when you hear it sung by 25, 30,000 Scotland fans in an arena like this, it's just something else.
That's brilliant. I'll absolutely love it, to be fair.
Here's Hanley, midway inside his own half, plays it to Kieran Tierney. Nothing to choose between the sides in this second half as Gilmore plays it back to Tierney, who's quickly pressed by Ndoye, and he was fouled, in fact, as he played the ball back to Angus Gunn, and it will be a Scotland free kick just a few yards outside the penalty area. Switzerland 20 places higher in the FIFA rankings than Scotland. In fact, that's their lowest position since September 2012, and that's as a result of the fact that they are serial qualifiers for these major tournaments. Scotland matching them in the opening almost hour, and it's the Scots fans who are in better voice at this particular stage as their team look to try and get ahead once more. John McGinn again picking up on that left-hand side, knocked out of play, and it will be a Scotland throw-in. Midway inside the Switzerland half, Robertson takes it back to Tierney. Tierney will use Hanley, who just deepens and plays it square to Hendry. Again, they'll try and just go from side to side, forward looking for Adams. He won't get there. Rodriguez knocks it away, and now it's Vargas through the middle looking for Ndoye with Tierney. Ndoye's done really well. Ndoye's put it wide. They should have scored. And Kieran Tierney, I think, he's done.
Oh, no.
Oh, Kieran Tierney's done. He immediately is called for the physio, and he's hurt himself in trying to keep Ndoye out. In fact, Ndoye got the better of him, but he should have scored.
Gone, I think. Ndoye's got to score. He's one-on-one with the goalkeeper. All right, he's very straight. He doesn't have an angle. Does Angus Gunn get a touch with his glove on that replay?
Yeah, I'll get a better look at it again.
But Kieran Tierney, this is terrible news for Scotland. He went straight down holding his hamstring. He knew straight away. So you imagine you'll see McKenna coming on for him now, but if it's a bad one, then that's the end of his tournament. That's really, really disappointing for Scotland.
Oh, it's agonising for Kieran Tierney, who's had such a bad time of it, even this season through injuries. But he's come back time after time. But yeah, as Stephen says, his tournament is almost certainly over. Switzerland also going to make a change. This one is not enforced though, and it's Xherdan Shaqiri, the goal scorer, who's going to be replaced by a man who got the third goal the other night, Priel Mbolo. He's not played a whole lot of football himself because of injury this season, but he's back and he's on the field of play. Let's see from Jane Lewis, who you would have been too far away from that Kieran Tierney injury, Jane.
Yeah, I've got a great view of it. He's absolutely distraught. He put his face into his hands and into the ground as well. He's been consoled by Jack Hendry and Grant Hanley as well. He's now in a stretcher, as you can see. The medics are around him as well as they're going to carry him off. He's got his hands over his face. He is absolutely distraught. I mean, it looks like a bad one. If straight away, as Tom said, he went down clutching his left hamstring, I think it was. He's got his arms over his eyes, over his face. Oh, he is feeling this one, not just probably because of the pain from the hamstring, but because of the pain, the fact that it looks like he knows maybe his tournament is going to be over. Oh, this is devastating scenes for Kieran Tierney. He's been carried off. He is not. Oh, I feel so sorry for him, Al. He's just covering his hands, covering his face, absolutely just desolate, absolutely just distraught.
Yeah, it's Scott McKenna who's going to come on. Andy Robertson going across to see Kieran Tierney on the stretcher and just try to console him, but Kieran Tierney spent a little bit of time out with him in San Sebastian earlier this season, and he's a good guy as well, Stephen. You don't like to see anyone injured, but Kieran Tierney's had a bad time of it.
He has had a really tough time with injury, and he's such an important player for us, so it's really, really bad news. But it gives Scott McKenna an opportunity to go into the left-hand side of the three. Yeah, I mean, he'll be comfortable. He'll be comfortable enough in there.
So an enforced change for Scotland, McKenna for Tierney, and a tactical one as Shaqiri is replaced by Mbolo for the final, what is now 29 minutes, but there will be, of course, time added on at the end, so a good bit, half an hour plus left to play. 1-1 it stands as the ball's out on the far side for a throw-in. Looked like it should have been a Scotland one, but it's been given by the referee in favour of Switzerland on the left-hand side, about 15-20 yards inside Scotland half. So Scotland just have to put, again, that bad news out of their minds, refocus.
It was a big let-off as well.
Oh my goodness, so it was.
He really should be scoring that. And it came from a slack pass from Hendry, then the ball up in the air wasn't dealt with particularly well by Tierney. And he's one-on-one with the goalkeeper, 16, 17 yards out. He's got to hit the target. I'm sure Angus Gunn gets a slightest touch to it.
Yeah, and Doy with a glorious opportunity. You were sure that the Swiss were going to go ahead there, but from just inside the penalty area, he just dragged it wide, and it remains Scotland 1, Switzerland 1 here on Sports Sound on BBC Radio Scotland. If you're listening, you can listen on BBC Sounds as you can with our daily football podcast. If you subscribe and get your notifications on, then you won't miss a single episode. Throw in to Switzerland on this near side, the Swiss right, back the way it goes, just over the halfway line to Scher. Just get the feeling that, well, if anyone's got the edge, it's Switzerland. They do seem that bit more dangerous.
We've not looked a threat. That's the only thing in this second half, Alistair. Scotland, we've not managed to get up the pitch and put any pressure on the Swiss back line. Can't think of any chances in this second half.
No, very limited. I just feel this is the type of game that Scotland do need to be wary about and just manage this next 10 minutes or so, because even just the change in Kieran Tierney, it's one that's been forced upon them. I don't think, as we've touched on, Anthony Ralston looks the most confident in the right-hand side. So I think just weather the storm, just allow the Swiss to have possession, don't go and vacate areas, don't go chasing the game. Just be really disciplined and the chances will come, because yes, the Swiss are a good team, but they're not by any means as good as Germany were on Friday night.
Here's Vargas attacking Ralston into the penalty. He goes onto the right foot, gets the shot away, it's off target. Thankfully for Scotland, again, Ralston was backpedaling, allowing Vargas to come in. He's trying to stretch his calf off here. It's been a tough night there for Anthony Ralston on that right-hand side. No wonder if Steve Clarke might look to make a change on that side.
It wouldn't surprise me, Alistair. He's had a tough game, but it was good play from Vargas down that left-hand side, cutting in his right foot, and he was just slightly off balance as he hit the shot with high over the bar, thankfully for us. But another attempt on goal from Switzerland, something we are not doing.
Yeah, well, they've had 4 on target and 9 in total to our 1 on target and just 3 in total. But at least it's certainly better than against Germany, but could still do with providing a better threat to Jan Sommer. The only one on target, of course, was the goal from Scott McTominay back in the 13th minute. Still being given by UEFA as a Fabian Schär own goal, but unless they've changed the criteria for goal scoring, then if it's on target, then it surely goes to the attacking team. Here's Gilmour in a good position, 25 yards from goal, he does hit it, but Akanji's in the way and it's out for a throw on the far side. Billy Gilmour's only goal as a senior player came against France in the friendly. He's not renowned for his shooting ability necessarily, but that might have troubled the keeper had it got past Akanji, but
it opened up really nicely for him, Alistair. He picked the ball up about 35 yards out and there was no pressure on him. He drove forward about 5 and unleashed the shot. Unfortunately hit the Swiss defender.
There's McTominay's taken out of play by Akanji just outside the penalty area. Akanji's hurt himself in the process. He's given himself a dead leg, I think, but he took McTominay out as well, and it was only a foot or so outside the penalty area to the right hand side. It's a really good position, this.
That's clear cut, isn't it? Scott McTominay does really well just with the touch. He anticipates that the foul from Akanji is going to come, and it's a really dangerous area, one that Scotland, they need to capitalise on it. We spoke about the quality in the dead ball situations up until now. Not really threatened the Swiss, but this is a perfect opportunity.
I'd go Robertson and just flash it left-footed right across the goalkeeper's face.
Yeah,
he's going to take it.
That's the decision. McTominay's moving away. Tony Ralston's still stretching off his calves. No wonder he's had a tough 65 minutes. He hasn't played a whole lot of club football, remember. Anyway, it's a really good opportunity. A yard to the right of the penalty area, about 15 yards from the goal line. Andy Robertson, the Scotland captain, stands over this free kick. Scotland looking to move ahead once more. It's Robertson, can he provide the delivery this time? It creates the opportunity. It's a good one. It's off the post. Rebounds. Oh, Scotland can't get it into the net. So unlucky. So close to a second Scotland goal. And the ball comes out to this near side, and the throw-in will go, I think, Switzerland's way. Oh my goodness, who did that come off?
I think it's Hanley
here.
Yeah, it's Hanley at the back post.
He does so well. He does so well to get on the end of it.
I wonder whether it would have been pulled back for a foul. Does he kind of wrestle him out the way a wee bit?
And I'm just
not
wondering about the height of the defender's foot as well as he goes to attack it.
And the ball line was absolute top quality from Andy Robertson. He does well, Hanley, to go and attack it. Really unlucky.
Yeah, so close for Grant Hanley. He passed up a couple of opportunities against Gibraltar. That would have been something quite different had he managed to get on the score sheet at the Euros. But denied by the upright. But that's certainly lifted the atmosphere once more inside the Cologne Stadium and should give the Scots a bit more confidence. But Callum McGregor can't find John McGinn, and now come the Swiss on the counter. Scher leading that. Mbolo says he was fouled. The referee's given it. I mean, the referee's not looking at that. How does he know? And it's a yellow card there for McKenna. I don't think the referee was watching that at all.
Wasn't.
It's an incredible advantage he's played initially as well. He lets it go for a fair bit of time. There's not an awful lot in it for me. It's just defender against attacker. Tom, you'll have been there as the attacker, just looking to try and gain the advantage.
Look at it now. I mean, they're both holding each other's jerseys. Nah, I don't think there's that much in that. I don't think that's worth a booking. The referee's gone on instinct there and reaction rather than actually seeing the thing.
Yeah, 100%. Breland Mbolo has, I think, bought that one and got Scott McKenna a yellow card. The free kick's taken out to the left-hand side. It goes. It's Vargas who's looked dangerous, and he's given Ralston a tough time. He's back with Vargas. Now Gilmore tries to close him down. Rodriguez back to Vargas once more. In slides Ralston. That was a good challenge, and it come off. Vargas blasted it. No, the referee says no, but Vargas has stayed down after a really meaty challenge from Ralston.
Yeah, it's a strong challenge from Ralston. Like, he's claiming for everything. He's wanting to throw in, but the referee's definitely giving it to the Swiss.
Yeah, it was a good tackle from Tony Ralston.
That won't do him any harm as throw-in's taken down the left-hand side. Here's Mbolo back to Xhaka, out to the left-hand side for Freuler. Mbolo again will chase the ball forward. Hendry though reads it and gets to it first and prevents it from going behind for a corner kick. Adams battling away, he's done well. Now McGinn out to the right-hand side. Out of play though. John McGinn is having another off night.
He's not looked himself. He didn't in the Germany game either. We're used to seeing him being such a star for this Scotland side, but it's not been his night tonight.
I feel a bit sorry for him in the sense that he's not seen much of the ball. He's been asked to play a little bit out of the left-hand side. Here he's done well to win possession back though, and he's found Robertson, who's in an advanced position in field for Gilmore. Midway inside the Swiss half, out to the right-hand side for Ralston. Takes a touch, tries to get it into the box. He's closed down. It's a Scotland corner. Listen to the Tartan Army roar.
It's much better play, certainly from John McGinn. He gets on the ball, plays a nice reverse pass in centrally. Eventually it's Gilmore that feeds the ball out to the right-hand side. Tony Ralston's in a good position, good support play, and he's the one that looks to go and deliver it. Gets the corner, and you can feel the energy from the Tartan Army as well. Scotland find themselves in a good position just as we head into the 70th minute.
Andy Robertson then from the right-hand side, the left foot in-swinger incoming imminently. Here it is, near post ball. It's away by Freuler. Again, it's not the best delivery. It didn't match his free kick a minute ago, and then Ralston, and trying to keep it alive, just knocked it out of play down in the far side, deep in Swiss territory, and Scotland will try and keep them hemmed in, but again, another set piece comes to nothing, unfortunately.
Yeah, I mean, the ball he put in just moments ago for the header off the post was an exceptional ball, but his corner kick delivery has been poor this evening.
Not sure what the boos are from the Tartan Army there, as Mbolo feels to keep a hold of the ball. Then Freuler pokes it out to this near side. Vidmer, McGinn's read that. He's almost there ahead of Scher. I think he's going to get a yellow card.
No chance.
I think
no chance.
Yeah, he's going to go into the referee's notebook for the challenge there on Fabian Scher. Again, I think the Swiss player was just a little bit cute the way he went down, as McGinn, he read the pass, he was trying to cut it out, and he was just there fractionally late.
He doesn't touch him, I don't think. Oh, no, maybe he does.
No, he only touches him, I think, because Scher follows through the challenge. Look, there's nothing
I know what you mean. I know what you mean.
It's not a yellow
card. You could probably
for me.
see why the referee has given it from his angle, but on the slow motion, there's not enough contact for a yellow card.
No, what I will say is though, there's a frustration about John McGinn just now, because we've just mentioned that performance-wise it's been a tough night for him again. He's now doing what John McGinn tries to do, and that's rally the crowd and bring a bit of energy. And he just needs to calm himself down, just keep himself focused on the performance, because there's still a long way to go in this game, and we know he's got the moments that he can just produce that little bit of magic. Things will start to go his way, but if he gets caught up in the atmosphere and everything that's going with it.
Well, the Tartan Army love him regardless. They know that he will always, without fail, give 100% for his country, and that is why he is adored by them. Left-hand side, Scotland have a throw-in, flick down the left. Kanji's there to win the header. Freuler helps it on. That's going to go out of play again for another Scotland throw-in, more or less on the halfway line. Left-hand side to be taken by Scott McKenna, who's come on for the beleaguered Kieran Tierney. And we just have to hope that that's not another really bad hamstring injury, but he has been beset by different types of injuries.
As he comes down, he rocks his knee as well, so I don't
really
know whether it might be his hammy. He was certainly holding the back of his leg, but his knee looked to kind of have a kind of hyperextension as well.
Scotland have got a free kick. It was McGinn who was fouled there by Vidmer, and it's a free kick on the left-hand side, a few yards in from the touchline, midway inside the Swiss half. And it's another opportunity to throw the likes of Hanley and McKenna forward. Jack Hendry will go up there as well. Scott McTominay is a good aerial threat as well. They have got a good amount of height in there as Scotland look to try and get back in front. 1-1 it stands, 73 minutes played. Robertson from the left-hand side swings it in. That's a good ball. The header comes in, but it's well off target. It was never threatening from McKenna, and it will remain Scotland 1, Switzerland 1.
It's a really difficult header. I mean, there's no pace on the ball. He's about 16 yards out. He's a full stretch in there to get any purchase on that towards the goal. I think Switzerland are going to make a wee double sub in a minute or two, Alistair.
Yeah, Sierra and Reader preparing to come on for them. It's going to happen now, actually, rather than wait until after the goal kick. So Freuler will be the first player to come off, Remo Freuler. And we just await the court officials board to see who else will make way. And it's going to be Vargas, Ruben Vargas, who I think's had a good game, and not too sorry, I have to say, to see him go off.
No, definitely not. Don't think the Scotland players will be too disappointed at that either. Just looking at a number of the Swiss players just inside the 6-yard box as well, taking an opportunity. They now just have a couple of choice words in terms of how they might look to try and build the play up. Scotland have been really aggressive with the press. I would need to say Shea Adams, Scott McTominay and John McGinn are the three players. It's just a front three they've created with a midfield four in behind it, and then the defensive three left remaining.
Play back underway, just over 15 minutes of normal time remaining. Scotland 1, Switzerland 1 here in the Cologne Stadium. It's finally balanced. Here comes Scotland, the one possession back. It's good play from McKenna. Gets it back from McGinn. Now he's one inside the corner of Xhaka. The Tartan Army behind that goal of Jan Somers, just trying to suck the ball into the Swiss net. What a noise they're making.
Yeah, need a better delivery. It's going to be McTominay this time to swing it in. We do have good aerial threat, especially McKenna and Hanley and Hendry in there. It's all about the quality of the ball in.
McTominay then from the left-hand side, right-footed. Gilmour comes to the near post. He goes back post. It's helped back across goal by Adams. Gilmour will go up and try and win the header. He goes down, clutching his face. The Tartan Army howl for a penalty.
Surely
Nothing
that's a
given
head knock
by the referee. Well, he's allowing Scotland to play on because they've got possession, I think. But you're right, it was a head knock. And then McGregor buys the throw-in on this near side.
We'll just get another look at it again out. Nah, there's not an awful lot in it. Two players have challenged. Fairly for the ball.
Throwing into Scotland about 20 yards from the goal line, left-hand side. Robertson takes it into McGinn. McGinn trying to find bit of space to get the ball in. In the end, he tried to win the corner. He didn't manage to do that. And then McKenna fouls Mbolo, and it's going to be a free kick to Switzerland deep in their own territory. McKenna's just got to be careful because he has got the yellow card now.
Yeah, he's got a habit of getting really, really tight to people, and he just got far too tight there and got rolled. And when we were in a good area as well, he just needs to jockey, make him take his touch back towards his defenders.
Kanji back to his goalkeeper Jan Sommer, edge of his 6-yard box. Under a bit of pressure here from McTominay. He'll just play it short to Akanji, right hand side. Akanji looks forward, turns away from McTominay. Such a cool customer. Plays it short to Xhaka. Xhaka back to his goalkeeper. Scotland pressing hard and high. Adams can't quite get there before Sommer gets it forward to Ndoye, who's going across to play on that left hand side with Reader playing where he was in the right flank. And here is Ndoye, left hand side, coming up to the halfway line. Plays it infield to his fellow substitute Sierro, who's in the centre of the park alongside Xhaka now. Here's Akanji just outside the centre circle. We've got 13 of normal time to play, 1-1 as Rodriguez brings it forward down the left hand side for Switzerland, making good ground here up against Ralston, right up to the edge of the box, not challenged yet. Now it's Ebischer, back to Rodriguez. Ebischer once more out to the left hand side for Ndoye. Trying to test Ralston here, comes on the inside, he gets the shot off, it takes a deflection, did it? On its way. No, the referee's pointed for a goal kick. I thought that took a nick, but it was a wild effort from
Tony
Ndoye.
Ralston's got to come off.
He's absolutely done.
Absolutely.
His legs, he cannot move his feet. Watching him backtrack and trying to jockey an attacker and defend against it for the last 15 minutes, his legs have been gone.
He's treading water, absolutely treading water. I think they'll look at either McCrory. Well, I don't know who they'll go with.
It's really got to be McCrory, isn't it?
Yeah.
Or maybe Forrest. I suppose if they want to be particularly adventurous and go for this victory, but
Kenny McLean, is it? It's ready to come on, perhaps down there. Yep, Kenny McLean is going to come on.
Will that be the swap?
They might shuffle the pack slightly. We'll get a look at it.
I reckon they have to. Let's wait and see. Ndoye's fouled by Hendry, says the referee, and it's a free kick to Switzerland. Ralston's gone down again.
No, that's Billy Gilmer.
Oh, sorry. Ralston's just walking off the park, though. In fact,
it must be Gilmer for McLean, and then.
Well, is Ralston going to get some sort of energy drink that's down at the side of the pitch?
He's going to need more than an energy drink.
I'd say so, yeah. Yeah, Gilmer's gone off, and McLean is going to come on in the heart of the Scotland midfield with 11 to play, plus added on time. As Scotland look to try and retain a bit of composure and control in the middle of the park there. He's just thrown a
carb gel. He's been given a carb gel.
He's more than a carb gel.
Well, he's just been beaten there by Ndoye rather easily. Ndoye still has it left hand side for Switzerland, midway inside the Scotland half. He's gone back the way to Rodriguez, and now Akanji inside his own half. But Tomley's still getting forward and good energy, but Switzerland have played round that Scotland press into Sierro, back to Rodriguez, but they've had to go back about 15-20 yards inside their own half. Rodriguez gets it back out to the left hand side to Ebischer. Ebischer on the halfway line looking for options. Again he goes back to Akanji, one apiece with just over 10 to play. Akanji just taking his time, waiting for a decent option to arise, and he picks a great pass for Reader. Reader now coming forward up towards the edge of the penalty area, looks for Mbolo, who just clipped the Scotland defender Grant Hanley there, and well, it's going to be roll behind for a goal kick anyway. It's either a goal kick or a free kick, either way it's in Scotland's favour. And so with 10 left, it's anyone's game, this one.
It is, but I mean, if you're wanting to go and win the game, you know, I'm thinking a bit more attacking substitutions. You've got other strikers on the bench. Adams has put a shift in tonight. He's not really had that much sniffs of the opposition goal. 10 minutes to go. I'd be looking in the forward department.
Goal kick taken by Angus Gunn. Into the Switzerland half it goes, flicked on by McTominay. Adams can't make anything of it. It's Xhaka, tries to play it down the left hand side for Ndoye, who managed to get a touch on it before Hendry, but only finding Hanley. Then Adams, a good touch in field from McTominay, just plays it behind McGinn. McGinn's taking good control, thought about the shot, and then just lows it out to the left hand side to Robertson. There's McTominay, just gets a glancing header on it, back in field for Ralston, then blocked for McTominay. McTominay still trying to get it goalwards. Now Adams trying to get turned inside the penalty area, just can't quite do it. Back out to Hendry. Hendry will play it back into the box. It's over every Scotland player and headed away by Vidmar as Robertson goes to gather it, keeps it in play. McKenna infield to McGregor, back to Hanley. That was another really good opportunity for Scotland, and it just wouldn't quite sit for McTominay as his initial effort was blocked. But it's better from Scotland again. Here's McKenna out to the left-hand side for Robertson. Back with McKenna inside the Swiss half still. Goes all the way back to Angus Gunn though. There is a potential penalty check. I wonder if it was for a handball, potentially blocking that initial McTominay effort. That was my instinct, but I think you thought that.
Yeah,
I wondered if it hit one of our players.
Yeah, I thought at the time it looked. I feel as if plays maybe went on a bit long now. I know they would.
Yeah, checks over. Mbolo's in behind. I think he's offside, but he's still going. Mbolo's scored. Now then, the flag goes up, and Scotland will wait and see what the VAR decision is. Mbolo wheels away. The Swiss celebrate, but the flag has gone up, and will VAR come to Scotland's rescue for a second time in the game?
Pretty certain Ali was offside at first viewing. I hope he's offside. He looks as if he's just gone, a fraction too early. I mean, the pictures that we are seeing, it's not quite clear cut across the line.
Off for me. Again, it's very tight, and probably more concerning is the ease in which he got through the two players that were there.
Yeah, the referee has signalled it is offside, and the Scotland fans and players and everyone associated with the national team breathe another sigh of relief. And at the other end, the penalty claim comes to nothing. So it remains on a knife edge with 7.5 to play. Scotland 1, Switzerland 1.
Yeah, it's a knife edge, isn't it? You can feel the tension inside the stadium. You can just every single Scotland fan to our left in their feet, just watching with anticipation. But I would need to agree with Tomo. I think Steve Clarke could make one more roll of the dice and at least get a bit more of an attacking force on. Shea Adams has put an awful lot into the game as well. Tony Ralston, as we've identified over in that right hand side, that could even be for me a James Forrest that could go in there just now and do that job and maybe just give you something else going forward that could be the difference.
Here comes Switzerland left hand side. It's Ndoye up against Ralston, who remains on the park, and he's beaten him easily. Ndoye cuts it back, McGregor away only as far as Xhaka left hand side. Looking for options. Oh, he's tried to pick out Ndoye and he's overhit it and it's behind for a goal kick. Much to the delight of the Tartan Army, but that was a good position for Switzerland, and Xhaka got it all wrong.
Yeah, it was brilliant play from him, getting to the byline, cutting it back. He didn't pick out one of his teammates. Thankfully, Callum McGregor was there for us to clear. Look at this penalty claim. It hits the face of
Rodriguez, isn't it? I think maybe it comes off of as well. Sierra is actually, and his arm is tucked in by his body. It does come off the back of his arm, but certainly the t-shirt line. But for me, his arm's definitely tucked in.
Another couple of Swiss changes are imminent, but the ball's still in play, and Switzerland do have it as a foul there against Shea Adams. There's not a lot in that, and I think they're also claiming, Evesham's claiming it should be a booking as Shea Adams booted it away, but I mean the whistle went a fraction of a second before he kicked it. So play resumes with the free kick. Guns come all the way out his goal, and he's done well. He just launches it over the halfway line, and McGinn just glances it on. He couldn't bring it under control, and it's Scher now picking up right hand side, just knocks it down that right touchline. Reader won't get onto it before McKenna, who plays it back to Angus Gunn. Just to make sure here, no slipping, and he knocks it up towards the halfway line, flicked on by Ralston. Adams picks up. Adams is just clipped there by Rodriguez. He goes down, but Scotland still have the ball, so play will continue. Ralston back to McLean, just inside his own half. 5 minutes left in the 90. Scotland 1, Switzerland 1. Adams is caught again there in the middle part. This time the free kick will be given, and Sierra will find himself in the referee's notebook as Shea Adams stays down. Another player who put a lot into the game as these changes come. It's going to be Amdouni, so that's an attacking change for Ndoye. And the other player coming on is Stergiou. He will probably replace Vidmar, indeed he does. That's a right wing back, great swap. So Amdouni or Burnley coming on up front as well to get right up there alongside Mbolo. Switzerland clearly think they can win this in the closing minutes. Scotland haven't been quite as adventurous. Looks like they are sticking rather than twisting at this stage, Stephen.
Yeah, I would say so. I think obviously a one each draw is a fantastic result. It takes us into the Hungary game, and he feels that there's no point in throwing everything at this in case we get done in the counter, but
Scotland have it.
Sorry, Al.
Yeah, midway inside the Switzerland half. McGinn into the penalty area. Glanced on out to the right-hand side for Ralston. Ralston back to McLean. Angle of the box, onto the left foot. Goes for goal. Adams leaves it. It's right into the arms of Jan Sommer. Didn't really catch it, Kenny McLean, from a decent position. And it remains Scotland 1, Switzerland 1. Leanne Crichton.
Yeah, I was just going to say, my concern is, though, that whether you decide and it's that old stick or twist, is that you try and stick, and all of a sudden the Swiss have got a bit more energy than you, and that you leave a couple of tired bodies in that pitch, that as the time and the clock starts to tick down.
Here's Xhaka feeding it forward for Amdouni, and covering was Andy Robertson. Just plays it back to Angus Gunn. Good defending from the Scotland captain. One apiece with 3 minutes left of the 90. McGregor picks up. Left hand side is Robertson, slides it forward for McGinn. Was he fouled? No, not by Scher, says the referee, as Robertson though makes a good challenge on Scher, and momentarily Scotland have it back, but Switzerland have it once more. Scotland need to retain possession a bit better just at the moment. Why he's not replaced a couple of these players who are out on their feet,
absolutely
is beyond me.
And this is where the Swiss have made more changes. They've got more fresh legs out there. They're chasing the wind. They know if they go and get 3 points tonight, it's virtually done and dusted. They're through. They'll progress.
Christie's coming.
Yeah, Ryan Christie's just been told by James Morrison to get strips. Here's Shankland coming as well, so he is going to make the changes, Steve Clark, in the last couple of minutes plus added on time. Can Scotland at least see it out for a 1-1 draw, or could they somehow grab a winner, which would put them in a brilliant position in the group? It would take them up to second with one game to play against Hungary, who are on rock bottom with 0 points. Angus Gunn knocks it down the right-hand side. Flicked on by Ralston. Back to Swiss possession. Oh, it's a Akanji about 20 yards inside his own half. A point is certainly a good one for Switzerland as well, albeit maybe they feel they can win the group. If they win tonight, they could go into that Germany game and maybe, why not, feel that they could beat the hosts, as Robertson knocks it down the left-hand side. Still in Scotland's half, and then Robertson has taken Stergiou out of the game there. That is a crude challenge, to say the least.
And the referee's given some bookings tonight that have not been bookings.
No, exactly.
That may well have been a challenge at
an easy one for him. Just a wild swipe at the ball, Andy Robertson. He tries to go with his left foot as well. Actually, I think if he maybe just opened up and tried to go with the right, he would have had a bit more control over it. But it's a dangerous area, one that Scotland need to defend.
Just over a minute of the 90 left. A free kick about 35 yards from the goal line out to the right-hand side, but certainly a good crossing opportunity as Reader stands over the ball. Akanji giving him a few words of advice before he sends this one in. Reader, the left-footed player from the right-hand side, will just try and swing this one in towards Angus Gunn's goal. Nervy moments here for Scotland as Reader curls it in towards the back post. They win the header, is wide. Oh, that was a massive opportunity there for Amdouni, arriving at the back post. He won the header cleanly, and he sent the header wide.
Wow.
It's a proper sitter, this one. I think he might have been off, I
think he's on. I think Mbolo's off, but the delivery is exceptional, by the way.
Into the back post, it's such a good ball. He's 6 yards out. He's really got to hit the target.
Here come the Scotland changes. Adams making way for Shankland. Adams has put in a power of work. John McGinn also making his way off to be replaced by Ryan Christie. And somehow Anthony Ralston looks like he's going to play the full game here, despite having had cramp for the last 20 minutes. But he's stuck to his job. You'd have to say, as difficult as it's been. Four minutes added on, was that?
Yeah, 4 minutes on the clock out. A big 4 minig, because we said it at the start of the game, we would take it, a score draw, it would keep us going until the third game with it all to play against Hungary. But a big 4 minutes, we know how these games can play out.
Here's Shankland getting his first touch, gets his head to it. Akanji heads it clear of his own penalty area. Christie picks up and plays it back to Robertson. Robertson midway inside the Swiss half, sends it towards the back post. It's over McTominay. Ralston's up in a good position, very attacking. He's got the ball under control, tries to get the beating of Ebisher, can't get a decent cross in though, headed away by Xhaka, picked up by McLean for Christie, inside the box, sends it back to McGregor, 25 yards from goal, sends it to the back post, Robertson across, goal! Oh, Akanji 6-yard box, high in the air, still it's not properly clear. McGregor over the bar from 20 yards. Switzerland survives. Scotland won, Switzerland won.
That's a good period of play from Scotland. Lovely ball over the top. Callum McGregor searching for Andy Robertson. He does everything right. Just heads the ball back across the 6-yard box.
Great
defended well. Really good defending. That just shows you top level players.
Yeah,
Almost sensing danger, just reading it.
Yeah,
reads it so well. And then Callum McGregor, the ball's dropping out there, 20 yards out. He goes to take the hit on, but he gets it all wrong over the bar. But still, it eats into the time. It slows the game down. It keeps Scotland in the front foot as well.
90 seconds of injury time have been played as Akanji lofts it forward, headed on by Sierro. Away again by the Scotland defence. Sierro tries to flick it back on. McGregor's in there, and then McLean will just turn that all the way back to Angus Gunn. Takes a touch just outside his box, and Bolo goes to close him down, and Gunn sends it out of play in the far side, more or less on the halfway line. 2 minutes left of added on time. Scotland won, Switzerland won. You listen to Sport Sound from the Cologne Stadium, BBC Radio Scotland, on all our frequencies and on BBC Sounds, as the ball was played back to Jan Sommer. We'll be recording another of the football podcasts after this one. Tune in for that on Sounds. Subscribe and you won't miss a thing as we bring you all the action from the Euros. It's back with Sommer once more. Looks like Switzerland are pretty content. They're not going to risk losing this one. They're quite happy to play it about at the back, as Akanji has it just outside his penalty area, chips it forward out to the left-hand side. Rodriguez back to Akanji once more. Almost looks like they're settling for the point, which would as good as take them through, but forward they come now. It's Scher playing it on, it's flicked on, and Bolo will chase that. Out comes Gunn and dives and smothers the ball, and it's under the control of the Scotland goalkeeper as we approach the final minute. The Tartan Army want Scotland to get forward. They want them to go for a winner, as Gunn powers it over the halfway line. Shanklin up against Rodriguez, gets the flick on, but Akanji's there. Might break back to Shanklin, it does, midway inside the Swiss half. Now it's McLean, out to the left-hand side. Robertson down the left-hand side, just shows too much of it to his marker, who is Sterju, he just knocks it out of play. Scotland throwing midway inside the Swiss half with just seconds left of the game. One apiece it stands. In a cliffhanger here in the Cologne Stadium. Is there a final burst of glory for this Scotland side? Robertson plays it back to McKenna. On the halfway line is Hanley. Back to McKenna once more, just inside the Switzerland half. Looks up, plays it out to the right for Tony Ralston, just outside the box. Can he pick out a Scotland teammate? Christie goes up to challenge, it'll break back for McLean. McLean couldn't bring it under control with the first touch, tries to play it out to Robertson. It will eventually come to Robertson. Down for Christie. Christie looked like he might have handled it there, but it comes to Robertson. Robertson swings it in, away by Scher from inside the box. Switzerland trying to get it clear, won't quite sit for them. Again they hack it forward, and Bolo will try and win it. There's a full-time whistle. Well, it's a good point in the end. You cannot sniff at a point against a team as good as Switzerland, and the main thing is Scotland are alive in Euro 2024. A battling performance, a much improved performance from the Scots. They couldn't quite hold on for the victory, but boy did they improve. And they made life really difficult for the Swiss at times, and only Grant Hanley being denied by the upright in the second half has denied them a precious 3 points here in Cologne. But as I say, they are still in the game, still in the Euros, as we enter the third game on Sunday against Hungary in Stuttgart. It will be all to play for. Scott McTominay, the Scots scorer, inside 13 minutes tonight. A fabulous goal to get the Scots on their way. It took a big deflection off Fabian Scher, but it was enough to beat Jan Sommer. And then Switzerland came back into Anthony Ralston with a misplaced pass, setting up Xherdan Shaqiri for an absolute wonder strike, you'd have to say, into the top corner beyond Angus Gunn. Chances at either end beyond that. Gunn made a good save to deny Ndoye. Switzerland had a couple chopped off for offside, and Ndoye was one, and Mbolo the other. And Ndoye should have scored when he got the better of Kieran Tierney, but he dragged the shot wide as Tierney was forced off, and it looks like his Euros are over as a result of a hamstring injury. Then came the Hanley header. McTominay had a volley blocked as it looked en route to goal, and then Amdouni headed wide late on, as either side could have won it, but neither side could in the end. And so it finishes in the Cologne Stadium, after a battle royale. Scotland won, Switzerland won.
Scotland versus